The following video will demonstrate how to get your iPads ready for the school year, both in Apple Classroom and also Clever Sign-ins. Looking at your carts to start off with, the lock that's on your cart, the first digit of your combination of the lock is going to be the first digit of the bed's code from your building, and then the last three digits will be your classroom number, which is taped on the front of the cart itself. Be sure to look on the back of your cart. On the back of your cart, you're going to notice that there are, or should be, 5 lights that are lit up, and make sure that all 5 of those lights are lit up. That will tell you that all of your iPads are being charged. If all 5 lights are not lit up, press that green button at the bottom there. Continually press the green button until you see all 5 lights lit up. As far as the totes that are inside of your cart, you have a red tote, a green tote, and a blue tote, and each of those totes should have numbers going right across them based on, corresponding to the iPad that is set for that tote itself. Next, looking on the back of the iPads, you should notice a sticker. Most buildings have stickers now placed on their iPads, but the sticker color should match with the corresponding tote. So a red sticker goes in the red tote, and then write your number of that iPad on that sticker. I would strongly recommend that you put the sticker on the smooth side of the iPad, as the rough side the sticker tends not to stick very well to it. Also inside your cart, you should also have received your adapters for your headphones. These are USB-C to USB adapters that you can plug into any headset to make them work on the iPad itself. All right, let's get into the iPads. The first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take out all the iPads from the cart and line them all up, or put them in a big circle, or somewhere where you have a lot of space, where you have your own classroom to yourself before the kids even get there. So line them up in a nice straight line. Now that all the iPads are lined up in your room, please watch the next video on how to create a classroom and add students to the classroom, along with some key functions of Apple Classroom itself. In this video, we're going to show you how to use Apple Classroom, we're going to show you how to create a class, and we're going to show you how to invite your students inside of your class. So the first thing I'm going to need to do on my teacher iPad over here is I'm going to need to select the Apple Classroom app. And then you'll notice that once I open up the app, there are no classes sitting there. So I'm going to click on this blue button that says Create a Class, and then I'm going to give that class a name. Mr. Maynard's Classroom. All right, then I'm going to come down here. I'll give it a quick logo. I'll give it a color, and I'm going to go ahead and hit Done. Now, once I hit Done, you'll notice that a tile will be created of my actual classroom. I can create multiple classes if I wanted to, but for an elementary world, probably one class will probably be fine. I'm going to open up that class, and once I open up the class, you'll notice that I have no students sitting in there. So I'm going to need to invite students into the class. So I'm going to click on Invite Students. Once I do that, it's going to tell me that it's waiting for students to join, and they're going to need to join with this 4-digit code, 3114. I would say for second grade, they can probably do this on their own. However, if you want to set this aside, set some time aside, it'll maybe take you about 15 minutes to do the entire class. But you have to have all the student iPads open and up and ready to roll. So now that I have the code that's generated, I'm going to come over here to my student iPad, and I'm going to hit the little settings bar right here, little settings icon. Once I hit the settings icon, you'll notice on the left-hand side that this little app icon shows up that says Classroom. I'm going to go ahead and click on Classroom, and it's going to notice all the different classes that are going to show up. That it can join, and here's my Mr. Maynard's Classroom. Now, this particular iPad, I already have the student name plugged into it. It's called Scooby-Doo. But if you want to, plug in your own student names, this is the section that you're going to plug it into. But down here, this is where I'm going to actually plug in the code of 3114, and then I'm going to go ahead and hit Add. Now, back on the teacher iPad, you'll notice that the Scooby bubble will show up. Now, I can leave that Scooby bubble there and move on to my next iPad. I can type in Fred Jones, I can type in, Iron Man, I can type in Captain America on all the rest of the iPads in the room. And each of those bubbles will then show up inside of here. Or I can do like 5 at a time, which is kind of what I like to do. I like to do 5 at a time and then hit Add. But once you hit Add, it will generate a new code for you. All right, so I got my one student in here. I'm going to go ahead and add Scooby-Doo. I'm going to click on the Add right now. And you'll notice that the Scooby-Doo bubble will show up on my teacher iPad over here. And you'll notice on the student iPad, it'll say Mr. Maynard's Classroom is connected. All right. But if I want to actually see what the student is actually looking at on my iPad, I can hit these little 4 little squares right there, and you'll notice that I'll see a little thumbnail now of what Scooby is actually looking at. But even that might be a little bit small, so I'm going to take my fingers, I'm just going to pinch on my screen, pinch it wider and wider, and now it gives me a little better view of what Scooby's really looking at. So if I'm Scooby-Doo, I can go here, I can go there, I can go everywhere, but on the teacher iPad, I can notice exactly what the students are seeing and where the students are heading. Okay. If I want to, if the student is in a particular location where you don't want them, say they're on pages over here and you don't want them in there, and you want to send them back to the main screen, I call it the rainbow screen, I'll hit this little eyeball right here, and it will send all students back to the rainbow screen. Okay. If you need to mute all students, this is the mute button right here. I can mute them if they have all the iPads are on and all the volumes are up and the videos are playing, whatever else. I can mute their screens right with this. And then the last button, which I can't really show and demonstrate right now because once I do this, it will kill the recording, but this is the lock button. If I hit that lock button, then all the iPads in the classroom will lock all at the same time. Students will not be able to really do anything on the iPad at all. They can't go to any other apps, or they can't adjust volume or turn them off or anything like that. So that's the real quick overview of Apple Classroom, how to add a class, how to invite students, and also a little bit about the controls and the functions of the buttons up here. Now that Apple Classroom is now all established and all your students are in your Apple Classroom, the next thing we're going to do is start over again. So start from the very beginning of your iPads, iPad number 1, and this time you're going to log in all the iPads into Clever based on the student's username and password. So please watch the next video. Now that your students are added to your Apple Classroom, let's get them logged into Clever. So very simply, you're going to start the whole process all over again. You're going to start with your iPad number 1, work your way through all 20 whatever iPads you have there. The kids, all you're going to do to get them logged in is you're going to come over here to the Clever app. Click on the Clever app. It's going to launch you right into Safari. Now you always have the 2 choices, log in with Active Directory or log in with Clever. You want to log them in with the Active Directory always. We had some teachers jumping into here. That's not really where they're supposed to be. It's supposed to be log in with Active Directory. Once you click on that, it's going to open them up into this particular zone right here, and you're going to plug in the kid's username, all right, whatever the username is that you get from PowerSchool at nfschools.net, so at nfschools.net. All right, and you're going to go ahead and hit next, and then you're going to need their password, and again, this is the password that they were given through your PowerSchool or the roster that maybe your secretaries gave you at the beginning of the school year. Now you may have to enter them once, and then it might say something along the lines of a new password is required, because remember, we always have to give the kids a password in the beginning of the year and then automatically reset it to the next time, or reset the password. So if you have to do that a second time, then you get back to the screen, you'll have to relog them in again. So you might have to actually do this whole process twice. However, once it's done twice, you're really done for the whole school year. Now it's going to be super, super important that this iPad that I'm on right now is always going to be assigned to emaynard@nfschools.net all school year long. Okay? All right, good luck. Thank you for watching, and good luck this school year. And remember, I will be around to assist you as frequently as I possibly can. Thank you.